The workers' republics have been formed in Africa. In Africa, they feel threatened as they feel their workers will revolt away from the African new capitalistic system that pushed out colonists. The syndicalists, communists, and narco-communists, anarcho-syndicalists, left communists, libertarian socialists, all are united to tear capitalists and state down. A flame of liberation has been lit, but it faces its first threat, an African invasion with Spain. The liberation will still be left to fight. The libertarian far left will fight till the end. They have less obvious threats, status, and tyrants. Who could rise from liberty if it fails? The rebellion is scary because it could fall to the hyenas. Either revolutions fail like Paris Commune by invasion and siege, or collapse like the Russian Revolution by statist and tyrannical dictators. Africa realizes if it acts now, it could succeed. Meanwhile, Switzerland's just relaxing. And while freedom has a cost, but comfort is free. So please subscribe and let's see if capitalism and statism can be stopped and free from, will work, or if it will fall. Well, please subscribe and let's get into it. Well, a lot is fired and both sides blame each other as the anti-communist crusade begins. Well, we'll first see their invasion begin. Let's start in the Levant, Arabia front into the Middle Eastern Workers' Republic. And while they quickly advance in, quickly taking major cities across the Levant, taking Jordan, its capital, and a few others like Israel. Taking out Israeli major areas. Israeli, Palestinian, same thing. Not actually. And then they move into Beirut, while they also manage to take Darmkis at the same time, as their front on this front has rapidly extended into Arabia and the Levant. Now, up in Europe, from Spain, they quickly managed to move in and capture Lisbon, leading to the collapse of Portugal. And then they move in towards the Pyrenees Mountains, and they manage to retake their islands. While the massive invasion begins, as they move straight to Baghdad, with them landing forces in the coast of Arabia to try to move towards Riyadh and Mecca, Medina, Jeddah. Yeah. As they manage to take Riyadh, they thus continue into Qatar, taking Doha, as they land in Yemen, taking Aden and Sanya, with an invasion moving fast this way and one this way, and this way to meet with this one continuing to take out the UAE, and then manage to take out Muscat, with a withdrawal from the south beginning. As they move in and take Aleppo and Mosul, eventually these forces go like this, seizing more land, with Turkey being pushed back significantly, with them moving all the way to Yerevan in the Russian Communist Workers' Republic. As they manage to land here and quickly move north to take Tehran. From Tehran, they also seize the Strait of Hormuz, and then they move in to seize more lands, as they take all of this in this front. And then in Europe, well, they manage to advance into Italy's islands, which they do quickly. Then they move up past the Pyrenees and take Bordeaux. And they also then move in to take Marseille, then Turin area. And then they move up into Nantes. And then they somehow manage to get to Paris, which leads to a big collapse in this front. As they end up over here. But Africa is now on the offensive, having punched into Europe and Arabia with the goal of colonizing its former colonizers. But in the front, whispers of liberation from the trees, a guerrilla warfare campaign begins, and communist rebellions break out. Also, Africa is about to stall out as they run out of supplies, as libertarian far-left alliance starts moving revolutionaries to the front. War is horrendous. Capitalism is worse, they chant. Well, let's continue. Well, there is a bit of partisan activity, with partisans liberating Lisbon in southern Portugal area. And then in France, they managed to liberate this area, which is the north. And then in Arabia, mostly break out around the Levant, with this one being a big success. But that's soon becoming clear Baghdad would have one. And then in the south, there was one. And then around the coast, partisan activity was spotted. As they continue to advance north, but this is unsustainable. As they move to take Ankara to get a victory. With them then moving towards the ocean and managing to create an encirclement, which goes nowhere. And well, the counteroffensive begins. You might be wondering, where does it begin? Yeah, in Italy. And as they take back Paris and reconnect to French partisans, with them slithering across the coast of France, retaking Marseille, kicking them out of Sicily, then they kick them out of Sardinia, then Corsica, then Spain's islands. Yeah, I'm sure Spain doesn't like not having it. As they fall out. You might be wondering, how they liberate Portugal? Well, through the water, but then they go to connect. And then they connect this way. But let's go to this front, where the counteroffensive is going to be massive. With it moving down into the Caucasus. With nobody knowing why they advance this way. As they all work together to create encirclement after encirclement. You might be wondering, is it going to work? Well, at this point, it seems so. With them retaking Ankara, completely demoralizing and demolishing the forces in these regions, so they eventually surrender. They are offered freedom. Basically. As they make a big launch across here. With them having the goals to liberate Arabia. With them moving across the coast for a bit as these forces launch up, eventually managing to encircle here, leading to its collapse. Riyadh gets retaken by pacifists, partisans, along with, I think, Mecca and then Jeddah. With this area becoming thus useless to the remaining forces, as the armies start sneaking around to make it hard for them to get out, eventually encircling, with these few snake areas falling. As from here they advance. And from here, retaking the Suez Canal, which becomes a major victory. And then the Sinai Peninsula. Well, as Africa's front has collapsed, the far left Union continues to advance. People are angry about resource shortages, mass casualties, and famines. In Lagos, Algiers, and the Cape, revolutions break out. The fall of capitalism is quick and fast, unlike a cat with a mouse. Well, let's see Africa fall to the workers. And well, like a bowl of eggs. In their fashion, these forces, since Africa and allies are completely demolished, they manage to start their major advances into Morocco and into Egypt. And while the rebellions, to be able to separate them, I'll put them in this color. With the Algiers Rebellion being massive as they managed to, from the Algiers Rebellion, take Tunis and that. And then we have the Lagos Rebellion. And I'm thinking, yeah, they take the coast. And then move in and take most of Nigeria and West Africa, moving around. Now the Cape Rebellion is very successful as it moves in. Start taking a bunch of cities like Harare, Johannesburg, Pretoria, and such, and a few more. And then they move into Windhoek, managing to take out this part of the South African region. Meanwhile, a landing in Djibouti as they advance into the East African Republic through the Horn of Africa, as they manage to seize humongous swaths of land. The central government's weakening, as we see two rebellions, the Kampala Rebellion, the Nairobi Rebellion, and then a third one, because these are really just one, so really a second one. In, well, Khartoum, as they start moving into cities, including like Al Fashar. Moving into, what's the city, the capital of South Sudan? Well, yeah. As these rebels manage to link up with these ones. As the Cape rebels manage to start taking enough land to lead to the collapse of the central government, leading to their gains. These areas fall to a lack of control. Now, let's look at the West's front. And they manage to, the communists, I mean, not the West, as they manage to seize this. And they also seized this. Yes, the rebels seized most of the continent. Well, as we need to do, we need to just fix these borders. Pretty easy. Pretty easy when you're lazy to figure out the lazy way to do it. Which is this, because I'm lazy today, everyone. But at least I'm not sick today. And let's continue to expand the European one. There's also the Eastern European, but this is a Western European Republic Federation. And then there's the Balkan one, and then there's the Russian one, Russo-Ukrainian one, and the Nordic one, like a lot of states we made, but the African one becomes the newest, the African Workers' Republic. Okay, there's only a few nations left. Can they stop it? Or is the radical left going to continue to seize power? Well, as the African Workers' Republic has been declared, now we must hope syndicalists and narco-communists, libertarian socialists and narco-communists and traditional Marxists stay united or war is inevitable. A massive rebellion comes at a huge cost, risks to the people. But failure isn't an answer. Can they stay united? Will it succeed? Answer in the comments your thoughts and theories. Well, if you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe. Also, slam the notification bell and not miss Alternate Future of the World, Part 13 on Wednesday. Wild Mapper out.